You're muted.
There we go.
How's that better? Okay.
I just had cataract surgery and I can't see this page, I mean, short term,
So
it's got worse, okay?
it was better before you had surgery.
Yeah, it was,
How long ago was your surgery?
What's that?
How long ago was the surgery?
Almost 3 weeks ago for the final eye, okay?
Yeah.
That's terrible.
Well, it
Yeah,
takes
I
a
mean, I can
while.
see this beautifully, but right now, to even look at my watch, I have to put my glasses on, like reading glasses on, so. Oh, I can read, but it's still
Yeah,
a lot, not what it was, okay, all right, so I'm hoping it gets.
most things aren't.
So my apologies, I was trying to read it on the paper and I could have just.
Amen. Amen.
Amen.
Okay. All right, moving right along, so that I'd entertain a motion to add that to our meeting agenda tonight.
I don't know.
It's already on.
To do that.
No?
No.
I don't need to do that.
Second,
Second.
any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Correspondence? Nothing.
No.
Any,
Board business,
Oh,
budget
public comment.
discussion, but I think we'll go first to,
Public comment.
yeah, public comment, sorry, okay.
Devin, have again?
So public comment, we're gonna take you under, we'll discuss the item, which I think you're here for, unless there's other public comments.
I do have a question.
okay,
Go ahead.
Have the departments been asked for budgets yet?
Mhm.
I'm sorry, what was that?
no. They've been provided capital budget information, but not budgets, no. And,
I mean, I assume that's
This is our planning meeting for the budget.
yeah, this is.
planning.
This is our
for the budget.
Yeah, we're gonna get a little bit done tonight, but
But
this is really the start of budget season. So,
Sort of lay out how we're gonna proceed.
Yeah.
Anything else, Ken? at this
No.
moment? Okay, all right. Anybody online have a comment?
No,
Well, I'm just waiting for the Falls Road, so.
Sorry.
Dan's just waiting for this.
Okay, all right.
move this through.
So I think, as far as I can see, that would be the next thing we move into, board business, which is
Well, hello.
the budget, so. All right,
Anxious.
So just to be clear, you're looking for an approval and a signature on this invitation to bid, request for proposals, is that correct?
Yes.
Yeah, there's two documents for the approval. One is the contract with Gravel Construction.
Yeah.
And I think it's on page 6 of that PDF, and you can see the owner's signature on
Yeah.
it. And then the second item is just our council that provides the funding for the grant approved the extra funds because this was a little more than was originally budgeted. So basically, yeah, two separate documents to sign.
okay, all right. So,
And I can describe the bid process or so, if you want to go
All
into
right.
detail.
so I'd entertain a motion to allow to open discussion and allow the chair to sign these two documents.
So moved.
Seconded.
Any discussion?
Here.
So it sounded like Dana wanted an opportunity to review this, is that correct?
He doesn't need to if he doesn't want to, I don't know.
Okay, all right.
Don't need to. I'll just say, the bid process was pretty robust. It was sent to, I think, somewhere between 5 and 10 firms. A couple of them came out to the site visit, and three of the firms of the several that were solicited submitted a bid, and the winning bid was 58,120, and the other bids were 77.5 and 149. So yeah.
149.
58,120, 77,500 for the second, and 149 even, 149,000 even. So yeah, so Gravel Construction's ready to go. They've signed the contract and they hope to get started as soon as possible. Yeah.
All right, Ken, Any comments?
Yeah, that's it.
Okay, all right. So. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, Dana. Well, I'll sign these documents, that completes this as far as we're concerned, right?
Deal.
Great, thank you so much.
Thank you.
I'll bring them to you in the morning, Dan.
Okay, sounds good. Thanks, guys. Thanks, Ken.
It's Dan Hall.
Yeah.
Right.
I thought it said Dana, but maybe Dana.
Yeah.
Oh, that was.
Dana Gavin.
I'm sorry.
I wonder with Dana, I'm pretty sure I've been calling him Dan. When he said Dana, I'm like, maybe I got my name wrong.
Well, I see Dana on here, but.
Yeah,
that's
Dana Gavel,
Yeah,
the
no.
construction guy, yeah.
Gravel.
Gravel, right, yeah.
Okay, so I'll take these
I
back.
think I did sign both.
Dan Gravel.
So do you want this? I don't need this for.
Oh,
I think it was for anything.
Oh,
50. So.
This too
what's the
shall pass.
estimate?
this,
Compared to 140.
I wonder where that came from.
so easy.
Okay, so I would move to the budget discussion, and for this, I would defer to either you, Paul, or Christina to essentially lead this discussion on the budget.
You want to start with operating or capital?
I don't care. Capital, so. Look, I'll start with capital. So we've got between the capital budget, this budget and the town plan, we've got lots of stuff to do before the end of the year, right? And that's starting to get a little nervous. So my thought was, and I don't know how you guys would feel about this, but would you entertain? Is it public knowledge about your? Right?
Yes, you can speak freely about
Okay,
that,
so
yes.
she's changing employers. So she's given her notice and she's got a vacation week coming up, the week of what, October?
21st.
Yes.
Okay. So what I would like to do, if possible, is carve some time out with Christina and Lori and bring department heads in for capital budget discussions. They've already been given the material. They know what we're looking for, kinda. We wouldn't be taking any decisions, but we could grab town employees during the day and without pulling them in here for overtime. I think we could work it out where if we had to go down to the library to sit with Bridget, we could do that. It would be a lot easier for Todd. It would be easier. I'm thinking it might be easier for Keith. But it would exclude Brian, Carl, and Devin, and I don't know how you guys feel about that. It wouldn't be to make any decisions, it would be to start putting together a capital budget that ultimately you guys would all have input on. It's just, I'm just getting nervous about we're running out of time.
Right.
And I don't know how in evening meetings, we can do both the capital budget and this budget and come in on time with something that we're proud of, so.
I for
I'm
one
looking for some
would
feedback.
appreciate this process. This is what I would look forward to. I think we did try to do some of it last time around, but I don't think we have to involve the whole board in the early stages of the process. Obviously, we're gonna be in the decision-making process.
Exactly.
Well, I would entertain discussion on that. I'm happy with what you're proposing myself.
I as well, but.
I think it's a good idea. I'm interested in seeing how it goes.
Okay, so I think based on that, I can make myself available anytime that week. And,
I have nothing going on that week, so my thing would be, let's reach out to Keith. Because he would be the one that.
he's the one that's got days off, right? Todd, I would think would be available, Bridget, that
Unless
she
Todd
should
has
be
vacation.
available,
Right.
right, exactly. So if we could
Right.
reach out to Keith, Bridget, Todd, and Cheryl.
Hey,
Those are,
Cheryl, you busy?
those are the four.
Yep, I'm booked up.
Those are kind of the four people
Working on snowboard.
want, right? I mean,
Yeah.
for capital budget. And all four of those people have been sent the information, right? So, yeah, we could, schedule them an hour apart, an hour and a half
Yep.
apart or something like that. And just start the process, right? Is that,
So how What time frame do you want?
I don't-
What time frame do you think you're gonna need for each one?
I would put an hour and a half between each one.
Yeah.
We won't need it, but I don't wanna waste anybody's time.
Okay.
Other
So
than
what week is this
Christina's.
you're gonna work? Yeah, that's that, okay.
2 weeks. Well,
I said I don't wanna waste anybody's
Oh,
time.
do
except
it.
Christina's.
21st.
It's fine.
So if Bridget is not available,
Pick a different day.
well,
Or,
I can explain here. Can Rob or one of the library trustees
Mhm.
attend?
I don't care, sure.
Just so, just.
Yeah,
as long as
and
somebody's from the library.
I would encourage Terry and Rob to attend with Bridget.
right,
Okay.
So they can work out a mutually satisfactory date, hopefully. Okay.
Yeah, I would think Rob's retired, Terry's some,
I think
I
maybe
think
reach out to Keith first, cause he's gonna have the,
that's gonna be the hardest one to
I'm
nail
just
down.
gonna email out to all of them and say. Letter district.
Yeah, but give them some suggestions, right? Like, let's avoid Monday and Friday, and let's try to do either Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday, and if we can start at 8:30. And then put people, so give them time slots and days and, try to, if we give them too many choices, we'll, right?
All right, so you're sending an email.
Okay, great. And we're assuming you're available that week.
I'm here.
Okay.
and that's question.
The Conservation Commission was asked for a capital budget
Right, you showed me that
back
last year.
in January or February, and I think I forwarded that to you, so.
Right.
Can they be party to this?
I don't think we're gonna be requesting a capital budget from the Conservation
Well,
Department.
we can see what they submitted and then we can look at it and see if we.
I don't know, did you, they were.
Sure,
asked
have
to
it.
submit.
What was on it, Ken?
Cheryl, do you have that document?
I don't have it readily.
Well, why doesn't Cheryl forward it, Paul and I will take a
Well,
look
they
at it.
don't
and
have
then-
any fixed assets, which is why I'm.
That's
not
why I asked,
realizing
what would be on it? I mean, it probably is a very small
Yeah,
thing, so
well,
that's why I
it's-
asked.
It's stuff you can do in a regular budget.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be,
Land.
but I don't know. Yeah, it's a fixed asset. It's not like it's a, I know, but.
Well, we have, we have properties, we don't own the town owns the properties.
No, no.
But we manage the properties.
Yeah, right.
The properties are listed on.
So just,
our budget.
if you just email that to us, then we can just take a look at it and then we can let them know.
Fair enough.
So do we have to warn the meetings?
Yes.
Presumably, right. Okay,
Once we
so
get
once we
time.
get the schedule, we warn the
Yeah.
meeting. Okay.
But I think you can warn it as a special meeting. You only need
Yeah.
how many, 24 hours, 48 hours?
24.
24, there you go.
But if I get a little bit more time, I'll be good, cause.
Yeah, I mean, if
it's
we
gonna
know
be
by
right
Friday
after
morning,
tax time, so you're gonna be working on sending out refund checks that everybody's gonna be patiently waiting for that has overpaid.
people
So,
are overpaying their debts.
well, we've had some that have overpaid, they come in and paid and then their escrow paid,
Oh,
and then, so.
yeah, okay.
We've
Yeah,
got,
I'm with you.
we've got one lady that's very waiting for her. Very nervous.
Will your discussion include the amounts of, let's say, the impact fees or anything along those lines, or are we raising impact fees or?
Well, no, I think what we wanna know is, what do you think you have versus what we think you have?
Right,
And marry that list up, and then what do you see going forward the next 5 years?
okay,
And how are we gonna pay for it?
right,
So maybe they're gonna say, yeah, we think we're gonna do this with impact fees, and we're gonna do this with reserve funds, and we're gonna do this through
Right.
tax, whatever. But,
okay,
I mean, we do have to have an impact fee conversation, but that's not gonna be part of the capital budget, I don't think.
Well, it's an ordinance related to the capital budget when it was written.
The impact fees, yeah, right, yeah. That might be true. But we're not gonna solve that problem.
all right.
During-
So the first thing you're attacking is the capital budget, and then what about?
Well, no, I mean, we're gonna be working on this.
Both, okay, all
We're
right,
gonna do that during the day,
yeah,
and I guess we're gonna have every Monday meeting. 14th is gonna be a regular meeting, 21st is gonna be a budget meeting.
Mhm.
And this may go quick, better than we think, I don't know. I mean, the fact that we all have this Excel spreadsheet that
That
Chris
Chris put
did.
together,
is pretty slick. Cause I don't think you guys had the advantage of that last year when you were doing this.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure when I say Lori's got 3/4 of the year in the actuals.
Yep.
So it's not 12 months versus 12 months, but it's 9 months versus
Yeah.
12 months. So I mean, but that's pretty normal when you do budgeting anyway, right? Try to get 3/4 and then,
Well, in reality, we could take it and we could look at what is already 100% spent.
correct,
Look at it, say, okay, we know that
Yeah.
is what we'll spend for the
Yeah.
year,
right.
and then annualize everything else, so we can look at what's gonna be spent in the next 3
So what was
months.
the plan where it talks about the budget for next year?
So
A
everything
lot
that's,
of figures are there, you just brought them forward, or?
so everything in yellow needs to be updated.
Okay, all right.
Everything in gray is a formula and will populate. So that's just so we can kind of work.
So my first question is, how did we end up with a variance of 1.3 million on tax revenue, on current taxes?
That was my question. I'm like, how did we end up with $4 million
We
in
collected-
current taxes?
$1 million.
Here is my guess, that number will include the stuff we pay to the school.
Oh,
So I think
okay,
when we write the school a check. at
that's the
end
gross,
of
not the
October,
net after the school.
Right.
Okay, that would make sense.
That was the only way I could get there, so
Okay.
I think that's what's going on, because we put it in as current taxes, we
Yeah.
don't split it when we take
Yeah,
the
yeah, no,
check,
it makes
right?
sense, okay. I thought.
Yeah, that's why.
So
I was super happy, I was like,
I
"78%
looked at
done."
that
He's
and
like,
thought,
"Oh."
wow, you won the lottery or something.
Yeah, well, I kept telling her, I said, Lori, we've got only 2.5 boxes full, we haven't even filled one yet.
Oh my God, this is great. Right, so we're gonna ignore that
So,
one for now anyway.
Please ignore that one, it's
Right.
getting bigger, but
All right,
So
so
we're ignoring the
how do you wanna do
actuals,
this,
like
Chris?
you're
You can,
saying.
you're,
it
you're in charge
includes
of this
the
one.
school fees, school taxes as well,
Right,
so.
yeah,
it's
yeah,
not
what
just
you
the
call it,
municipal.
current tax.
Well, so what I wanted to think about is how we wanted to present this to our department heads to have them give their feedback on
Okay.
their departments.
Yeah.
So I want to do a standardized form for them to complete so
Yeah.
that we're getting everything back in the same format, so we're looking at the same thing.
Smart,
So I was thinking maybe Lori could take their sections and break it up and either print it for them so they could complete it, or put it onto an individual spreadsheet for them so that they can fill it out. So they
So-
can see where they're at, and then they can put in where they're thinking they're gonna be in 2025.
so all the fire and rescue, parks and rec, library. Select board, we don't need town clerk, treasurer. I think that's a great idea, I mean, you should be able to do a cut and paste in
Oh,
a
yeah.
separate document, get it to them.
And then it have a section, here's my 2025 budget, and then have a comment section, so they can give you an explanation of what they're thinking.
Could that include how it's gonna be paid for?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, yeah, because impact fees, reserve funds, workforce retention funds, taxes, those are grants.
Same as you did for your capital budget, create the columns.
Yep.
Here's how I'm gonna pay for it.
Because I don't understand them yet, the letter accounts, which are not here, my A through Ns. Like we're using an E account for the Veterans Memorial.
I don't know what that means. E account.
We have this whole set of accounts that start with letters that I don't understand. But there's like,
They're all the.
Are these separate funds?
They're the separate funds.
so I think they need to know the funds as well as the operating, right?
Well, there's gotta be a master key as to what Fund A represents, right?
There's a name, yeah.
Okay,
Cause we only budget the general fund, we don't actually budget
Correct.
all the other funds. Mhm.
Okay.
well, that would make sense.
Yeah.
Do we want to give people a suggestion, a goal? An inflation number, CPI, any kind of guidance on what we'd like to see on a budget increase? Or just throw it out there and let them have it?
I would wanna throw it out there and have it.
You would?
No, I wouldn't.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I'm asking. I mean, do we wanna try to keep it?
Well. In the past, did they decide their salary increases for their departments?
I would include the salaries.
Okay.
I'm sorry, Christina.
I wouldn't include salaries.
Yeah, the only department that did that was fire department, The rest of it is just COLA. And then.
Well,
Both
the
of-
union is in their contract.
Yeah, there, but.
Yeah, that one,
The
yeah.
previous board had set a limit of like 5%.
It was 5%.
Yeah. Let's see,
I
I
want
want
to
to
give
give
them
them
5%.
What, yeah.
I don't even, I think Tom might have been the only one who would fit 5%.
I would give them 3.
Think so.
Well, it's way easier to go up than it is to come down, but what is the CPI for 2024?
What's the social security COLA gonna be?
Not much.
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, this isn't, 3.1%. That's a forecast for 2024 is from 3.1%. Versus 4.06% in 2023. So I don't have a problem throwing 3% out there.
So.
I mean,
as of
and the reality is,
2024,
it's-
US
it's all
inflation rate
negotiable.
moderating in August 2024, so 2.5 and 2.9 in July.
Why don't we split the difference between the two, between 3 and 5 is 4.
No,
No, I'd say go under that.
go under, they'll go over.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why I'm saying it's easier to go up than it is
So you want to
to
stick
come
with
back.
3?
I would say 3.
However,
However.
we know that benefits are gonna go up way more than 3. And are we thinking about compensation as a package?
So I
Or
would
just
not include
salaries.
their salaries, benefits, FICA, anything that's benefit related,
Okay,
Yeah,
because that's not in their control.
correct. That's, I was just gonna say, anything that we're trying to, anything that.
Because
they
it
can
looks
control.
like we are looking at a 22.8% increase for Blue Cross Blue Shield.
22%.
Yeah, and then
Yeah.
the lady told us 36.
Yeah.
So according
Yeah,
to
MVP's higher.
Green Mountain Care Board adjustments, it's 22.8
Yeah.
for the small group average increase.
Right.
MVP is 11.1%.
In spite of that, UVM is not filled in their surgery clinic because of Green Mountain Care Board, you know.
Well, that doesn't have anything to do, this
No,
stuff,
I know, it doesn't have anything to do with
yeah.
this, but I'm just saying that.
UVM's also not going forward with their Medicare Advantage plan, so.
Okay. So are we okay with telling them to please try to, in another
Well,
way?
it's a guidance we're giving them. at this
Yeah.
point, Yeah.
Yeah, I think we should give them some guidance.
Okay.
So basically everything that includes social security, retirement, insurance benefits, HSA, dental. Salaries.
obviously no.
Yeah.
So we're giving them 3% guidance on the rest of their operating budget?
Yeah.
Okay. Make sure I understood that.
A request. Yeah. So you wanna start going down through what we can?
We could probably get some of it. So,
Interest in collector's fees?
well, we think like delinquent taxes, we're gonna do the same and budget for nothing.
Oh, yeah, couple.
And I would think you would keep the same on your delinquent tax, interest on the delinquent tax, you don't wanna overestimate that.
Mhm.
But
And I think delinquent collector fees, that's gonna go up before the end of the year.
Mhm.
Because anything after the 15th, even if it's what, 1 hour is delinquent. And there's gonna be people that pay a day after, whatever, and Kevin's gonna get a cut of that.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't, I'd leave that one alone until the end.
Right,
That's an easy one to tweak anyway. DRB fees, that's interesting.
well, that one we should ask Doug. On where he thinks they're gonna be, right?
Well, yeah, he's gonna be part of, because he's got a budget.
Yeah.
So that would be the other piece where when you're reaching out to like anybody who has revenue. They gotta have the revenue piece too. They're expensive, they have the revenue piece. Carol, what do you think about vault time?
It's gonna depend on what the market's like for housing sales. That's how we kind of get it because of the research.
Well, right, but
Yeah, so I mean, I would say we're probably gonna stay right about the same.
I'd probably leave that one alone.
Mhm.
Passport's leaving the same.
Yeah.
I mean, $60 isn't gonna make or break the budget.
Zoning fees is a little shocking. Is that because of the increase in zoning fees that we didn't actually budget for?
Yep.
Okay.
That's done too. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, all permitting fees and building permit fees, all that stuff went up, so.
Recording fees are way down.
Mhm. No, it's been house sales.
So that you
Is there a reason it's down? Or what, 40?
House sales.
Oh, just they're down.
Pretty much that's where, recordings come in,
Yes.
is selling of houses.
Well, although it's not way down though, because it's gonna be, you're looking at 2/3 or 3/4 of the year. So
Right.
it's 10,000 a quarter,
Yeah.
basically.
Yeah, but when we had the COVID stuff, when everybody was selling their houses, our recording
Yeah.
fees were like. Now,
Right.
now we're coming back down to where we
A normal level.
used to be.
Yeah.
Right, but 40,000 is probably reasonable because you're,
Look at driveway permit fees.
I know, I just noticed that, and that,
Because
I would think that would be a correlation between your recording fees.
Zoning
but-
fees are up. So driveway permit fees are up, right?
yeah, well, we just raised the driveway fee price.
Oh.
Driveway.
So I don't know, is it gonna make sense to wait till we get into November and get another month's worth of data? I would suspect November and December would be slower in zoning. I don't know that, but I would suspect, right, people are gonna be done for the year.
Yeah, and our liquor licenses, unless the state raises their rates, will stay the same.
Hmm?
Liquor licenses will stay the same unless. the state raises their-
easy one.
Yeah,
What did we invest in, we got over 5% return on, interest in investments?
that's just a sweet account.
Oh, okay.
So the state aid to highways, they prepaid.
Mhm.
Yeah, so we gotta stay with basically what we had in 2024.
Yep.
Yeah. Traffic fines, railroad tax, that's pretty
traffic
constant.
fines, hopefully will go up a little bit with having more. police.
What's the pilot payment, is that Celtar,
No, that's the
Wyeth, or,
the lands that the state owns.
oh, they sent you, but
Payment
they,
in lieu.
yeah, when did they cut that check?
I don't know.
Did we get that number from them?
Yeah, they don't pay up for their tax. Well,
It's payment over tax, right, I get that, how is that determined, they tell us? And so last year, they must have told the select board 3721's the number, they just haven't paid it yet. Did somebody
I
come?
don't, they come in like October when we get the rest of the taxes.
So we can't do anything with that one,
No. Yeah, there's no there.
and I don't really know what state fed reimbursements,
Yeah,
are like
state
3 grand
federal
is.
reimbursement.
I don't know what that is.
I don't. Yes, you and I were discussing that.
Is that 19 we just got?
No, what did we say that was?
State fed
Because we
reimbursement.
looked into it because we were trying to figure out.
You know what that is.
State of Vermont current use reimbursement,
Current use.
it's in your budget notes.
God bless my budget notes.
Told you those would come in handy.
Yeah, current, in here, current use reimbursements, yeah,
When did they come?
good question, I have no idea.
Obviously not yet.
Not in September, I
When was it paid?
don't know. How can appraisal be that close, really?
Wow,
Well, because they make a per person payment of $850, so.
when's that going to legislate for us? Or we'll start paying the state for it?
The appraisals?
Yeah.
So they should be taking over, well, they're supposed to be taking over, but they're so far out.
Yeah.
That they don't even have somebody to come and do the appraisals, it's where it probably was.
Yeah, I don't see an appraisal coming anytime soon.
So does that mean we stay the status quo or it just?
I think so,
Yeah. You stay where we are,
I think so, yeah.
So no, we have to adjust the school reimbursement.
Very good. So school reimbursement is coming, I'm not sure. I understand. Treasurer services, Oh, wait a minute.
The school reimbursement.
so that's
That's for our.
38 grand is plowing. And that's to be determined. So the three things that make up that are plowing, town report reimbursement, and treasurer services. So if we lose the plowing, that's gonna drop to $7,000.
Which, I don't have the. I have the results of that today.
Oh,
I
you
brought it over,
okay.
so,
Yeah,
I want to move it on that. Oh, he would brought me to do it there, I don't.
Oh.
That's why, I'll grab the paper, show you.
okay. Let's see,
It's my favorite.
I hate that.
I hate
That
this
should be
language.
0. I have no idea what's even in there, Lauren.
Do I have any notes?
No, you
Yeah,
just
Not
said
really.
change to tie was 72.
Oh. Didn't want to explain.
What the hell is miscellaneous revenue? Well, we better star that one and figure out what the hell it is, because we've already collected 73 and coded it into that.
Yep,
Or I would tell you, go back and look at what you've actually put in there, or
Yeah.
April put in there. That might,
Oh, wait a minute. McCullough per cubic yard agreement and other miscellaneous funds received.
that's under the tie.
McCullough is the,
Crushing.
yeah, McCullough crushing is aggregate,
Well, that's what your note says.
well, the note.
Why would we get,
The note says,
why would we get income from, if we're buying stone from McCullough?
Did we let them
Is there?
get stone?
We don't have a quarry.
Yeah. Rick, I think, isn't McCullough who's leases the Rainbow?
Mm-hmm,
Is there something that
I don't know.
I don't know.
is in that agreement that we,
Well,
the amount
Let's
of
say we're doing this.
rock they get out?
I
we get a-
have no idea.
I don't know.
McCullough per cubic
I just-
yard agreement.
I'm just.
and
That's what
other
it sounds like.
Miscellaneous funds received. Well, 72 grand is a lot of miscellaneous funds,
mhm.
Yeah, but per cubic yard might be,
unless
Yeah.
we're, yeah, but what kind of agreement would that be? I've never heard of that. Okay, well, so we gotta start that one, right?
yep. Your start.
Interest on investments,
Yes, your treasurer's not making actual investments yet, just taking the interest from the bank.
Smart.
greenbacker revenue,
I don't know what that is.
So that,
that is the wind
wind tower agreement.
towers.
Oh,
Ah,
And so 45,000 is correct, right? Because that's the 1 year,
I believe that's
because
correct,
we received 2 payments last year,
that's correct.
or. We
Yeah.
received 2 payments this year.
Right.
2024.
And we
so-
can't, they're not gonna do that again, it was a timing thing.
Correct.
okay.
So I think that's gonna default back to 45, and I haven't seen the agreement myself, but I would assume.
Our copier income's coming right in.
Yeah, I can see that. Amazing you got that much, actually.
People like their copies.
Community event, we got $1,800 for a community event.
Donations, yeah. We actually got more than that.
Through September.
Mhm.
Yeah, I think part of it was, ended up putting in gifts to town. Yeah, cause it was like over $4,000, I think we ended up with,
Well, how come it's not in there then?
yeah, cause it got recorded in 2 different places.
It was money spent for the Memorial Day parade, various things.
Well, it got put into. But then put in with the public stuff over the beach.
Okay.
That's what Todd brought me on.
Hmm.
Yeah. So we could do a reclassing of all in the same spot. Yeah, 'cause there was over, it was like $4,000 worth of donations.
So it's gotta be someplace else.
Yep.
Okay,
We can do a journal. entry.
so cell tower rent payments.
But we don't have any, came from the attorney yet, right?
So we've already received 48,545.
Yep,
I thought they were withholding payments.
They were not. They didn't, I
I
don't
thought
know.
they deducted, or they did a
They
whole match or
did
something.
one for like
Okay.
$5,000. We sent them a check to cover an overpayment on one of them, but the total overpayment, they have not withheld anything.
Okay, and we're
Which
still,
makes no sense to me.
and we're still waiting for a response to our offer to settle.
I believe so. Cheryl, American Tower, we're waiting for them.
yeah, I reached out to the attorney,
Okay.
and he's kind of just saying, pushing, or do we just put it all on the phone and see if anything comes of it?
Well, they keep sending the check, then,
Good.
okay. Oh, okay, gifts to town.
Yeah, there's that. But it might have offset an expense somewhere else, that's the other thing.
Yeah.
Okay. Where do we get library revenue? That's not memberships, don't.
No.
What is library? What is library revenue? No notes?
I don't think I put there like summer reading grant.
I just wonder what goes in there. I don't know what goes in highway revenue either. What is highway disaster? I don't even think we budgeted for that.
We didn't, so we just got $19,000 from the state through FEMA for the Halloween 2019 storm.
Yeah.
2019?
2019, so the cash just came in, that's what you're at.
2019, 5 years ago. Right, so where does that belong? I don't think it belongs there.
Well, I put it there so we knew where it
Oh, right, it
was.
sticks out. Good call.
Like disaster, but it was disaster revenue.
Right, but the question is, where does it go? Where does it belong? We don't even have to answer that right now, but I'm sure.
What was it from?
2019.
2019 Halloween storm.
Okay.
That was a pretty long time ago. Okay, we're just getting.
I mean,
5 years.
I think it's right in that revenue, it's just a cash thing now. I mean, the expenses have already gone,
Oh, Lord, yeah.
so it's just we're not gonna.
No, I'm
budget
just
it yet.
wondering if there's some other place we should put it, like into a reserve fund for the
Yeah.
highway, or, you know what I mean?
You can't.
Instead of just, What?
How are the reserve funds funded? We have to look at how our reserve funds are funded.
that,
Funded through your budget process.
If that's what how the reserve funds were established, we'd have to look at how the reserve funds were established.
Well, so I'd like to start that one, I mean,
For us,
If
this
it was
year, it's
for-
unanticipated money.
well, I'm sure it was spent on roads, I would
What's
guess.
that?
Mhm.
I'm sure it was spent on roads and culverts, and so to my way of thinking, it should go back into one of those funds. Bridges, culverts, roads, something,
Mhm.
so it doesn't just get spent on something non-related to what the intent.
Well, what it's gonna do now is sit in the general fund, so then in
Right.
the 2025 budget, we would have to say, okay, we're gonna take the $19,000 that we received and put it into the reserve fund.
Right,
We'd have to budget moving in,
okay.
if that's how the reserve funds were established.
How are we gonna determine how they were established?
Well, I don't think that's, but I don't see how a reimbursement from the federal government would restrict what fund we put that money in.
Well, we can't just move it, we have to have the townspeople tell us where.
Well, the check came, she chose to put it in this fund. She could have chose to put it in Town Beach. You know what I'm saying? She just chose that one because she seemed.
Right, but what it's gonna do is it should sit in the general fund until. Right? Because it's reimbursing the general fund. Basically.
Well, is it?
Yeah,
Where
we
did the
don't
money
know
that
what
was spent come out?
happened.
The way I see it, it's unanticipated money for this year.
Yeah, it is.
We
I
didn't plan for it. I mean, a long time ago, we applied for it, and now.
I just don't want it to get lost. That's all.
And I just think that it should go to a reserve fund that is similar to what the money was.
Well,
used
that's my
for.
point, but
But
maybe
that
to
way-
Chris's point, we leave it here and then in the budget for 2025, we move it into whatever reserve fund out of here into a reserve fund.
Cause Lori and I tried to find what was paid
Sure,
for that grant.
in 2019.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, look,
What I'm
It
saying,
had to have been infrastructure related, had to have been.
it had to be, it was a bridge probably or something that.
Right.
Washed out the culvert.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah.
so what I'm saying, to be transparent versus just moving.
yeah,
it
no,
right
I get
now,
it, I
is to
agree.
Say.
Yeah, no, you're right, that's more transparent.
In our budget, we received this $19,000 in reimbursement in
Right.
2024.
Right.
We're gonna move it to the reserve fund for
Correct.
roads.
Right, because that'll actually
It
reduce,
has
We
to
received
impact the
it for-
taxpayers.
it'll reduce
Federal
by
reimbursement. for-
19 grand what we have to raise by taxes.
Yeah,
It would seem that this is probably
That
an
makes sense.
ongoing area that we will receive money in the future because we're applying for.
Yeah.
I presume disaster relief funds for all these ones we've had. So,
Only if it's a FEMA disaster.
Yeah, we don't qualify for some of them.
not really.
so that's gonna mean that it's just gonna be a side note for when we have the public discussion about the budget. That.
This money came in,
This is what happened.
We're
this is
gonna
what's
apply it
going
here,
on,
yeah, no,
Here's
you're right.
what we're doing, we're going here to here.
Yeah.
And then
No,
you
right,
guys,
yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you can follow it, so,
Right, yeah.
yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
I just wanna be.
Yeah, no, I got it.
no,
You're right,
absolutely.
okay. So the next one we're gonna look at is workforce retention. My only comment about that, and that's the money that we have not spent yet for workforce retention. But we did allocate monies in 2024 out of the workforce retention funds to projects that did not get completed in 2024 and will not get spent in 2024. So we don't have to solve this problem tonight, but at some point, we gotta look at our allocation. And I don't think anyone went over, but I know for a fact people went under. For instance, I believe the library had 33,000 or something like for carpet tiles, I wanna say.
Yeah, we did.
Give or take, right? They have not spent that money. So I'm assuming what they're gonna wanna do is roll it in to 2025.
Well, Bridget
But I
reached
don't know
out to Todd to see if they could get moving on this.
Oh, yeah, but they're not gonna spend it by the end of December.
Right, and I've also, because we had money for the well and for the heating system. And I reached out to 802 and then I reached out to Todd to see if they could set up a time to come and look at this furnace to get things going, so we.
That's in the spirit of trying to spend it in this fiscal year. Right, because otherwise you gotta put it back in the pool again and get voter approval again.
Right,
Yeah.
so
Yeah, so I'm just, that's out there.
it's all in the
I just don't know how
works,
much
it's just
that's out
getting
there.
it done.
Well, in that amount of money was also the money we spent out at the beach.
Yeah,
That's coming out of there, okay,
yeah,
because we allocated what?
well, we're actually spending money
35,
down there.
40,000. Yeah, we spent, so,
Wow.
Ken seems to have a question,
Okay.
yes.
So the workforce retention money that was allocated to conservation, for some reason wound up in their line item account. So that has to be, that, it can't be in the line item account, because you know what happens to the line items at the end of the year. You go away. So it has to be moved out of line item, out of the line item account into, I assume, its own account.
Okay, so we're.
So it's interesting because I saw a beginning balance entry for the beginning of 2024, which was like
In
keeping,
conservation?
in general,
Oh, in general. Okay.
keeping money where it had ended 2023, like it rolled.
Yeah.
And I don't know how or why Chip and April did that.
Question for Chip.
Yeah.
I don't know why I did that.
Yeah. So Ken, you have 3 line items in your budget. GCC purchase current year, GCC transfer to reserve, and GCC transfer to general. Agreed?
So look at other project funds, I'll call one that team,
That's fine.
And this 22 is in line 371.
conservation wetlands bridge, 30,000.
Workforce retention money's got put in there for
Yeah,
some reason.
well, no, that's fine. That's where they go on. And that's where they'll go in 2025 if you don't spend them in 2024. Because you're gonna spend them in the current year.
That's a lot, that's our line item for this year. We only got like $3,500 for the line item.
Well, no, you had 26,760. This is the budget.
The
With the
Work-
22,000.
workforce
22 in there.
retention was put in there.
Yeah, that's good.
No, it's not, because at the end of the year, if you don't spend your line items, they go away.
No, what I'm telling you is if you don't spend it, that's gonna roll into 2025.
The 22,000 is yours, Ken, we're not taking
Right.
it away.
If it's workforce retention funds and you didn't spend it in 2024, it's gonna roll into 2025, unless you tell us you don't want it to roll.
But how can you have that hidden?
How is it hidden?
It's hidden because the money that's appropriated from taxes for line items is in that line.
Okay,
So you have monies that were appropriated by taxes,
right,
and you have monies that are SLFRF monies.
okay. I
And you
don't,
know what happens at the end of the year, if you don't spend your line item, that money goes away.
That's what
Well,
I'm saying, I saw it in opening
I don't-
balance entry that put that type of money back in.
yeah, I don't know why it would go away. I mean, I haven't done a budget from the beginning in 8 years, but I don't know why it would go away.
Always does.
Well, it's not gonna
In
in
your-
2025.
in your line items, if you don't spend the money that the taxpayers appropriated for a line item, that money gets rolled into whatever you would call
The overage or under.
The overage.
Okay,
Yeah, I wouldn't do that.
Well, in actuality though, when it was budgeted, it wasn't done this way. Lori actually moved it when she did her budget in,
I think that one was already there. There were a lot of other ones that were.
no, it wasn't done that way.
No, okay.
No. I don't have, it was at the final one.
Yeah, this is the last one I had, what has been done.
I got all our, budget notes. Too. All right. let's take
So
a
you
look.
can see if you look at.
I just think that the workforce retention dollars can't be in the same account as,
Yeah, it's just how she's presenting it right now, Ken. When the budget was presented to the taxpayers, it was not.
right,
It was,
I'm trying to, we had that on almost like, but we're trying to incorporate all this stuff into the budget, which was difficult last year.
Right,
because
so
we
right
had to
here-
rework the budget. I'm trying
right,
to
so
think
it's
where
on
that
page
was.
130. This is what was presented to taxpayers.
What they do now?
It's not in that book, it's in this.
Oh.
Cause this is the,
Oh,
remember that little
right.
pamphlet?
yeah.
So it actually was broken out right here, it's,
Yeah.
in the other project funds. So line 113, Wetlands Bridge, $22,000. But
so
what,
why is it in on my line item account then?
when Lori, was, when she loaded it, or when April loaded the budget, or Lori changed the budget, she put it into your line item. But it's actually separate, it's out here.
Is there a general ledger account for it?
No.
But it's
Not that-
still right here, Chris, on this budget, online, this one I just told Paul about, 118,
118.
yes,
That's the 2025 number, Cheryl.
for 30,000.
No, that's right, there it is. It's
Oh,
other,
it's
under
that.
other project funds, right there.
Right.
Conservation Wetlands Bridge.
Yeah, I still have it listed in 2025.
Yeah, so it's gonna be budgeted 22,000.
Oh, so you're moving it to there, okay.
Well, that's where I'm leaving it, because he hasn't spent the money.
Well,
Under other project.
we
funds.
have spent some of the money, that's why it's very important for us.
Well, we'll just need to know how much of that 22,
You've spent, and then that will be in your line item, and your budget amount will be reduced by it.
that makes sense.
Does that make sense to you, Ken?
Pardon?
So what we'll do is we'll reduce the 22,000 by how much you spent. And so your budget amount from project funds will be reduced by, say, if you spend $5,000, you will have $17,000 sitting on that project line. And your line item will show the 5,000 and the 5,000 being transferred from the project funds.
But I mean, do you want those monies to show in the line item?
Yes,
But the line item,
we're transferring funds into your line item to cover it, because it was approved by the
the
tax.
line item are funds that are raised by taxes.
I don't-
Specifically,
But I don't know why that would make a difference. Why would it make a difference? Thinking out loud.
well, when we build our budget, we're not gonna be basing our budget on 25,000,
No,
but but that's what it says, we have now in line items.
You're building your budget on your actuals,
On what?
your actual spend.
and it looks like we've transferred 5,000 into the reserve fund and we still have 8 to go. Is that what I'm reading?
That's because they didn't get their whole fund the previous year.
Those transfers don't happen till the end of. the
Usually
year.
don't happen until December, although I don't think that's a great practice, but that's how it was done in the past. But
No, I think we get her.
anytime after October 15th, you can start making transfers. But anyway, that's just my,
Then they don't
Okay.
get missed.
okay. Well, the good news is it's clearly separated on this Excel spreadsheet. The question becomes, how is it presented to the taxpayers? And we can cross that bridge
Right.
when we go over it with the Conservation Commission budget. We don't have to
Right.
log down to that tonight, so we'll talk about it again. I don't care. I'll make it as transparent as possible. I don't care.
So Lori, that bill for the bridge work needs to come out of SLFRF funds.
And you and I will talk better if you don't talk in letters to me. I never know what you're saying.
Workforce, work retention.
No project fund.
Well, are we
The
gonna
one I
keep,
just sent to Dan,
No,
are we gonna keep the other project funds going? Those don't, no, we can't, because those don't have NEMRIC accounts. And we're not gonna set up NEMRIC accounts for those.
Right.
Because those are one-time uses.
We can
So,
talk about that when we.
The question is, do we really want to set up another line item for a one-time use of
Right.
funds for the Conservation
We
Commission?
can talk about that when we do our meeting then.
Okay.
Just, on that big number, the workforce retention number.
Yeah.
Isn't it made up of all the things we talked about before? There should be
This
a
is the
list
money that we haven't
of all the
allocated.
money that we allocated. to
No.
those.
Well, so that 2025 budget needs to be updated, right? That's not even workforce retention anymore, that should be 0.
Right.
Because it's now in the project fund, we moved everything to the project.
I see project up there,
Yeah.
So that's what we moved it to.
Right.
Because it says WR, meaning it was the workforce retention previously.
Right.
Okay. My point is, I thought we had numbers attached to everything in that 1,059,000 at one point. Now, whether we stay with those numbers or not, I guess that's this board to make that determination. I mean, I don't see it here, but it must be broken down, what's in that 1 million something.
So don't look at the yellow, that's old numbers that need to be updated. Right?
Right. My point is, I know we allocated a certain amount to the bridge, okay, all right? And then, hopefully, we're gonna get funding for it from another source, but we allocated a certain amount of money to the, Mill River Bridge, I'm calling it, the Canning Bridge. Okay, all right, and then we allocated a certain amount of money to several other things, is my recollection, and that's what it seems like we're just saying it's just a big pool of money of $1,059,000.
Right here, right here.
Hmm?
Another problem.
Is it?
Those are what we allocated. It's part of that.
Okay.
We-
Yeah,
We can allocate.
money to the new plan, town plan, 24,000, we allocated to Historical Society, 20,000 of which they spent some money, and so we have 14,000 remaining, okay? So that's what these other project funds are, that's made up
Those
of,
are some of them, then we use some to pay off the loans of the trucks.
right? Okay,
We didn't spend all of the,
no, I know,
Project
I know,
money.
but there, we allocate, that's what I said,
we didn't allocate all of it either.
no, not all of it, but the majority, but we did allocate.
A big chunk of
Right,
it
so that's the remainder that remaining that we did.
that we did not allocate.
The amount we didn't allocate is where?
Correct.
That's that.
255.
Right here.
We didn't allocate $1 million.
We updated that number.
Yeah, that's the old, that number was right, that was the direction.
But those numbers gotta be updated.
But I'm saying,
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
As I say, I know some of the money
30,000
was
for the carpet tiles and.
That's the
That's,
box.
not
that's actually,
appropriated,
in here.
but allocated.
That's all allocated in here, because we put that right through the budget. We brought this money in through the budget and we spent it out through the budget, so people could see it. This was not part of something you can vote on. What bug the hell out of me, that's why we paid into it. Okay.
Anyway, I presume you guys will work on this. I'm still confused on that, but that's fine.
Okay,
There's a lot, confused about a lot of things.
yeah, I'd say let's keep moving.
You headed out? Take care, Ken.
Bye, Ken. Have a good one, Ken.
So the $273,000 transfer restricted fund. Which restricted fund is that? I don't remember that one. No.
Let's see what your note was, because that was something you updated, Lori, and I didn't know. FY 23 money to be transferred from reserve fund to general fund. There was 165,000 for the high bridge fund, 6,000 EMS fund, 143,000 GFD fund,
What's that?
Georgia Fire Department.
Oh, okay.
57,383 highway fund, 6,000 records preservation, and 4,000 GCC general fund.
Now, are these the notes that were on Doug's spreadsheet that were in here?
Well, he put in the number, the only ones that are mine is when I made the adjustment, and mine say was this, and I put a date with it. But everything else was in there when I started.
Cause that's more than 273,000.
Right.
That's what I was confused. I was like, I don't even know what to do with this, cause it's more than 273,000.
I don't remember budgeting, 73,000 in restricted funds.
It might have been at one time, money was set aside for that presumed plan in Parks and Recreation to,
Well, part of it.
okay,
I mean, we look.
and then we moved it back.
I don't know what that 273 is, I just, what you were just talking about is more than, it's way more than 273.
We may have to go back to those.
165 for the bridge and 143 to the Georgia Fire Department fund. That's 300 grand right there.
Right, that's why I didn't do anything with it, because I couldn't make sense of where it
Yeah,
was
I don't
going.
understand that one either.
So that's why I left it highlighted.
Maybe Doug has better notes somewhere else.
Okay, we gotta dig into that one, that makes no sense at all.
And the same with 33,000, there was way more in the notes than.
Hmm.
But you didn't move that one, you left that there.
What line in your budget that was presented to the voters, what line number was that? Or was that not on what the voters budget, what they voted on? You had that, I don't have
Sure.
that, I got the town report, but I don't have the
Cheryl had it right there.
approved budget.
Oh, I have it right here.
Just tell me what line that is and. I got a talking point for each line that we're keeping. For the town,
What's TIE stand for? Hmm?
Where are you seeing it from? Thanks in advance.
Says change to tie.
Oh,
So,
so I had a number I wanted it to be, and it wasn't that, so I just changed it to make it that. I made it tie out.
make it tie out.
Oh,
money
that's what you meant,
transferred
okay.
in and out of budget.
What line number?
So transferred restricted fund, we had 381,938. So,
So we didn't have that 273.
no,
So where did that come from? It's got a Nemrick account too.
yeah, that's what Lori has in her grants and capital.
Okay, so nobody knows where that came from. Good job, Lori.
It agrees to Lori's general fund, but I don't know where it came from.
Okay.
I didn't tie it up, I didn't have time to do this, to tie it up to this walk, but.
Yeah, no, I get it, but, okay, so that's a big question mark. We have no idea what that is, because that was not in the budget. Okay. All right,
Well, this whole section doesn't agree.
No.
yeah, the whole impact fee fund, it can't be off by that much.
Oh, wait. I'm looking at the 2023 budget, sorry.
Oh,
Yeah.
sure.
Move over, Colin.
I gotta move over. So there was 273, line 58.
Okay, line 58.
One,
83,000 paving, 165 hybrid resurfacing, 10,000 park and rec, and 15 grand records preservation. 83, 165, and 25.
Okay, well, that equals the,
273.
but that note does not equal 273.
No, but this is our cheat sheet for the town meeting, that does equal.
Yeah.
So that's where it came from. So is that something, are we gonna even use that account?
Yeah, that shows right here online. Yeah, you see, 58, 58.
58.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So are we even gonna use this account for anything?
No, but we can't make it just go away, because,
No, well, we don't have to budget for it in 2025, I'm just curious if.
Right.
Do we need that? We don't have to answer it tonight, but do we
Maybe
need
not.
to use that? I don't know.
well, how are we gonna show? Well, we can figure it out.
Is that the restricted funds that April and Doug and Chip talked about having on hand for like an emergency?
No, because we've spent it out. We earmarked it. So if it was a rainy day fund, like you just described, that
But
would.
it has no actuals.
Yeah. So nothing's been used.
Nothing's been spent against it. So does that mean I have some things classified somewhere else?
Correct.
Correct.
Because, and you wanna make yourself a note or take a copy of this, because
Yeah.
that's what's supposed to be coming out of this fund. Those 4 items.
The budget notes right here, you're saying those 4 items,
No, I know,
No,
those notes aren't
no.
correct.
Her notes.
not those, right?
We came up with cheat sheet for town meeting to answer people's questions,
Yeah,
and that's what that is. Chris and I had, I think everybody, me and everybody.
It actually was in the budget highlights of the packet.
Is it in there?
Mhm.
Yeah, okay. This is a bigger font, easier to read.
Good.
Oh, I think I added more notes for you and I.
Oh, that could be. Okay. So we don't know if we're gonna need to budget anything in there, I guess that'll come back, that'll come out toward the end of.
Right.
what's that?
That'll come out, we'll come back to that at
Yeah,
some point.
definitely.
All right. What about impact fee funds? We've only collected $611, that doesn't make sense.
No, that means she's only transferred $611, which means that she's got some work to do there too, because he spent some of his impact funds. Impact fees. As well. So you probably have some transfers there, because we had Keith spending some of his for some of his
Yeah.
suits and stuff,
Yeah, and I think, yeah.
so I think
some
that's
products
also
and-
in your notes.
Okay.
Go to 64 on that, what you just made a copy of.
No.
No, 64, no?
It should be under, I think it was under Keith's expenditures under.
Oh, it's not 64. What is it on? I'm looking at 64 on here, it's not 64 on here. You gotta look in your budget sheet. Transfer impact fee fund,
59.
59, what do you got for 59?
Him?
That's from last,
That's
I
from
just
town
make my
meeting.
own.
Oh, way back.
Yeah,
yeah. that's from town meeting.
Oh, okay.
yeah, so we could defend the budget. You have 59 there?
I do.
Does it equal 33,000?
April.
It's better.
14, 12, 5, and 6, 5. So that's 19 plus 14 was 33,000.
Ha, Yahtzee!
Yeah.
So to get the money out of that, you gotta follow that note too.
Okay.
What line are we on now?
We are on line 64.
Well, we're still gonna do that.
All right, yeah.
I don't think we can do the project fund.
But this is revenues, where would keep it? I've gotta get them out of the fund account, so they're down there with the letters and move them over. Oh, okay, this is gonna be fun.
Yes.
Well,
so
it's
they-
not a ton of transactions.
No, but,
Right, so if he spent, so,
and he has given me things that say impact fees,
yes,
okay?
Okay, so how, yeah, accounting wise, so we've transferred it into,
I haven't brought the revenue in, but I have the expenses. I need to move the revenue.
yeah,
yes, ma'am.
yeah, right, exactly. You gotta move the revenue.
I don't know why it's.
So you gotta move that amount of money from the departmental impact fee fund revenue into this, out of their revenue into this revenue.
Okay.
Yep. Okay,
But there's not a ton of transactions.
or do you have this?
So you gotta have that. That's the
You'll
first
take
budget.
yourself a copy of it? Well, it's the,
Plus,
I
it'll
will
tie
say-
into this.
Yes, Doug may have given it to me like my second day when I didn't know what the hell he was handing me.
so the only thing it doesn't have is, that's what was presented, but they did make motions from the floor. So there are two changes to that budget.
Doug may have an updated one on his computer.
And we're gonna make
They
you,
added
make you
everything.
guess what the
What the
changes.
changes were. Alright.
It's a test.
That's it.
Great, great.
I can tell you what they are off the top of my head.
Go ahead, tell us, remind us.
Lori's house in the, what are they called? appropriations, and then we increase the, appropriation committee.
Lori's, we did the appropriate for him.
What?
The, when it's the offer, you know.
Yeah.
Not mine.
Yeah,
Well, I was kidding.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, right, Lori's out, right.
Lori's,
Morgan's
L-A-U-R,
making that.
Lori's house, L-A-U-R-I-E-S.
No.
Yes, that's not me. Too many letters.
Then they count like well and different things. Appropriation.
Yeah, I just got a house. Great. There's no staples in there, otherwise I would have done that. There's no staples in there.
So Chris, there's 149 sitting in the highway grant revenue column with the zero budget, so I'm thinking that doesn't belong there. Where did that?
Well, that might belong there because of that mysterious grant that appeared that we didn't know about.
That wasn't.
we should-
49,000.
No, it wasn't 90.
All right, we'll look. at-
What is that 149?
I don't know.
You gotta figure out where that was supposed to go, because I don't think it belongs there.
Okay.
Early on tonight, there was a discussion that we should set a time limit for this meeting.
Yeah, we did.
Okay,
We
we
did.
didn't officially do it, but I'm just looking at the
10,
time.
10.
I think we talked about 8:30, right?
So I think we do this for
I'll leave
7:30 and then
I think it was 8.
I'm sorry?
I believe it was 8, but we can extend it.
I think so.
No, we can do this
I don't think it's zero, it's at the
because
top.
we have an executive session we gotta do.
right,
Yeah,
do this till 7:30 and then go.
I agree.
Cool.
do this till 7:30.
Or at least
Me
maybe
too.
get through.
I think the hardest part is just kind of get the momentum going, and then
I
once our
agree.
brains are at the end of this, it gets easier. And this is the tough stuff too, because this was a bit of a challenge.
What's that now? What's the challenge? They're all down.
So the highway grant revenue, we gotta look at that one.
Yep,
Laura, you gonna be in all week?
yeah.
I may come in and spend a couple hours with you, see
This
if I get it all.
probably wouldn't be great, though.
Oh, because of taxes.
Today was,
It's only the seventh.
we were wall people all day.
On the seventh?
Yep.
Really?
So the next 2 weeks are gonna be.
Well, between that and then they come in and they wanna do their ballots at the same time. So they're not
Okay.
just coming in.
Okay, so
And
the
post
timing for
and
Chris and I are good. Okay, fair enough.
Yeah, no, it was, like, I really did nothing.
One stop shopping.
Yeah, it was crazy.
It's all right.
And then tax
Fine.
module wasn't working right.
Yeah,
The days go quick, right?
yeah, but I have to make a deposit and I can't get the tape to line up so that I have everything squared out and count money and, yeah.
People paying in cash,
Uh-huh,
wear rubber gloves when you get that cash.
too late. I'm not dead, we're all good.
For the bouncing checks, man.
No,
Oh,
you don't never know where some of this cash is coming from.
Oh.
I'm always leery about large amounts of cash. Okay. Impact fees, admin purchase impact fees. What line number? For notes, what number is that one in there? So we know that 15 grand, that was in the 273.
68.
Okay, what's line 68 that I have?
No, line 68.
Oh, come on.
We might not have, it was only 12.5. No, one's.
Okay. Admin purchase impact.
Cheryl, which
Well, wait a
one?
minute, no, wait a minute. Well, the 15 grand for record preservation is in line 58, part of that 273. So,
Line 59 says 14, 12, 5, and 6, 5.
here we go, 12.5, line 59 in your notes, Chris, fire 14, admin 12.5, highway 6,500, so whatever line 59 is in your approved budget.
The next one down was records retention, 6,000, looked like there. In that note that you were looking at. Oh,
What is line 59 in that thing?
Transfer impact fee fund.
Okay,
Was that for computer? Did we use that for some of the new computers that we got for zoning and?
I don't know, if you look at 59 in there and look at 59 in there, you're gonna see both the 12.5 and the 15,000.
So where's transfer in fact?
The 15,000 is in line 58,
But
and
the 15,000 is for,
record preservation.
right,
That's
And
the expense,
12,005.
12.5 is for admin.
that's the expense, right? We switched to
Correct.
expenses versus,
right, that's to get some of the books fixed.
I'm actually really confused.
I have no idea what anybody just said.
Yeah, okay, we'll work on this, don't worry about it,
Unless
we'll
we
come
do-
back to that. But if you've got the approved budget and those notes, when you look at it, it'll make sense.
Okay,
But you don't have to do this tomorrow.
good. I got a tape for tomorrow.
And then if you go to your fire department purchase impact fees of $14,000, that's also in line 59 of the approved budget.
Okay, yeah. That's what it
And
said.
the park recreation of 10 grand, that is in line 58 of the approved budget.
Okay,
So just so it'll make sense.
yep. So there's probably expenses somewhere else that should be there, is what, that's like for Parks and Rec. I have a $10,000 budget, I have no actuals, so I have some expenses somewhere else that should be reclassed to here.
Yeah, and, yeah, yes, because these are expenses.
Yes,
So they were expensed to a different category, which if we don't line them up in the budget, is gonna make the budget look like shit. I mean,
Yes.
We can't do that, so we
no,
gotta
we'll have
get
some.
them into the right pew.
Yep,
But it's a matter of finding them
yep,
and just sliding them into these account numbers to clear them.
yeah.
Okay.
Yep,
So that'll make sense.
these are all reclassed journal entries,
Okay.
they'll be pretty.
All right, so then if you keep going down on line 101, you got that $6,500 for the impact fees, equipment purchase for the highway.
Yep,
That is in line 59 of the approved budget.
Okay.
That 165,
yep,
that's in line 58 of the approved budget.
Okay.
The 250 for the plow purchase,
does not have an Emmerich account.
hang on, yeah, what did we do with that? Yeah, why is that on there?
That was the one thing I couldn't
Yeah,
fix.
we've got that, we budgeted for that in workforce retention or project funds, but I'm not sure where. That should be in a note somewhere. Yeah. Where's that 250, Chris?
On 104.
Wow.
remember.
I think because it's got its own line item and we don't have a note for it, it should be in the budget where we're gonna.
The $250,000 truck purchase.
But I don't have an Emmerich account for it, so it's nowhere.
No, so
Right now
it's
in
somewhere else in the budget. Because we accounted for it, because we approved.
I
it.
think it's in that 1,059,000.
I don't think so, that's,
No, I think it's right there, I just think it's not in Emmerich.
yeah, but it would. Oh, it didn't have to be a number for the town budget, did it?
Right, we didn't have account numbers.
Yeah, well, maybe we never gave it an account number.
Because Doug added a bunch of accounts.
Yeah, you're right, he did, I just.
Remember,
wondered
we
if he
thought
maybe
they
didn't-
were.
But he didn't do
maybe he
that
didn't
one,
have- Maybe that's the answer.
yeah, because he and I talked about it, and he's like, no, there is no Emmerich account, what do you mean?
Yeah, right. Although the fix might be to add that to number.
Okay.
Because we definitely budgeted that.
But we haven't purchased a plow, so.
No. Yeah, we're gonna have, it'll roll into next year for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I think he's more than almost a year out to purchase the truck. Right? That's what
Yeah,
we're talking
and
about.
Brian and I are trying to talk him into buying a smaller truck. Not going very well. We're trying. Okay, so the next one then highway paving.
Another to be paid off some stuff.
$178,000. That does not have a number. Do we have that in the budget? Chris, is a line item for 178? Yes.
We did 109, so that was highway paving. 178, 104. So number line 104. Those were workforce retention funds. Probably 7 workforce retention. And then total paving budget was 306, line 379 is total paving.
Okay, so that's line 379.
But I think 379, the
Yeah,
total
that's
budget
where
was,
it is.
well, was only 45,000 in the budget, remember, if we didn't.
Yeah, but of the 306, we had 178 coming in from workforce retention, which is there, and that's on your notes on line 379 on the approved budget, not on that document. Look at that very last note,
Yep.
and that 379 gives you the line number in the approved budget.
Okay.
The 178 came from workforce retention, right?
Correct. Yes. And 83 came from reserve funds, and I think we had 45,000 in there already. Total 306. Of which you spent 346 because we got a grant that we didn't know we got, and we had it. Anyway, I'll figure that out at some point. Holy guacamole.
Look at that progress we made.
Okay, so number training is the next one, and that does not have
Any,
all right, so wait a minute, let's look for 6837 on our notes. I saw something in here for notes, so,
that training the chip.
yeah. I saw that,
120. Line 120 on this.
yeah, right, that's what we're trying to,
Oh.
I'm pretty sure that was chip training.
do we have that line item in the approved budget?
Well, it was admin contract,
Number three, how much was it?
115.
Yeah, it was more than that.
Line 115. 6,857 is number of training.
Yep. Mhm. But what should my actuals have been? We're obviously not there.
Did you use any training with Chip?
He charged me, he was in that one day. And when I talked to him, like, there's a couple bills, yeah.
Yeah,
That's where
I
that
would say whatever monies was spent on training, yeah. But before we do that, we're gonna have to set up a number for this thing too.
No, there was a contract,
We have consultant line.
yeah.
Yeah, it's probably down in admin,
It's admin consultant services.
I think that's where I
Yeah,
coded.
But is that where that
But that's all-
6837
no,
is?
No, there's only $2,100.
No, there was somewhere, hold on.
I thought it was somewhere too. I could have sworn I saw something about
When there
it.
was,
Maybe it was in these notes. Okay,
there's-
Admin contracted services, 13,850.
that's our.
148.
I think that's where Chip went, but I don't know.
No, that's, can't go there, that's our payroll services.
Yeah.
We
So
have
I
that
want-
one, and then we have.
What's on
the-
line 138 on the notes?
And then we also have admin. Well, there's admin training there, but it's not under there. And admin computer support, that's our IT. Yep,
So,
Oh, was it under admin training? 200.
he's looking at the old budget.
yeah.
He's decent technical budget,
No.
when you're looking at that, it's line 200.
Line 200.
No, because that's just our regular union classes that we had, that we were out to. Chips was totally different, they set aside a specific amount of money just for April to check.
Okay, so the other option is to just leave it go and let it go bye-bye.
Is it 201?
We haven't spent anything in that category. If you don't spend any money on it, we don't have to budget for it next year.
The line 201, we've got 67.
I can look and see where those, there was like 2 chips.
That's not
on
either.
Yeah.
That's not either.
If, we might not even use that account number.
Right,
If we've got it covered up some other place in the budget, why bother?
right.
Right.
Okay.
And then the project fund, don't we need to have, doesn't that need to have a number?
I think it.
It's all on 120.
We're on 121.
121. So that's the balance we carry forward, Carl,
Right, and that shows,
255.
right, it shows where those
But that's gonna
same
go up
category where that one
because not everybody.
money transferred into out of budget, and it shows that as a variance of 255, right?
Yeah. So I think that needs a NEMRIC account. Until we spend it out, right? Shouldn't it? I mean, it was in the budget, but it didn't have a NEMRIC account, it was under those other project funds that we didn't give a NEMRIC account.
Right.
But we still have to go look at like what's obligated and that stuff too, don't we? You think we're right?
For project funds? No.
The Workforce retention funds?
I thought we're.
We transferred out that.
I
all went
thought
to
we were
project
clear on
fund.
that.
But it. Cause you brought it in. And we wanted to just make sure we were okay.
And it's all the wages, right? And you filed that.
Well, somebody was emailing with VLCT, the person that told us
I did.
to move it
And
into
I
workforce.
sent you and Lori.
Right, I thought it came back that we were fine, did it not come back?
That was the older number.
All right, well, I thought there was.
But I haven't
more-
like moved any salaries or anything, this is where. I think I have to go back to that.
Yes, I think you need to follow. I sent you this stuff from the original,
Right,
when we first did it.
right, so.
you and Lori
you
were
and
gonna
I were
follow.
talking about this,
We
Follow
were.
up on it,
okay,
and you were gonna reach out to the LCP to that Katie.
which I think you did. No,
Not sounding familiar.
okay. All right, we need to resurrect that before the end of the year.
Yep,
Sooner
Okay.
or later.
yeah.
I still think we're fine, but
I think we're fine too.
because we're following their advice. Okay, yeah, right, so, no. I'll wait until you. get done with-
7:30, so are we
Yeah,
stopping this?
sure, I'll wait till you get done with taxes.
Okay. Great. All right, I'm running away,
Running?
running away,
Thanks, Lord.
running.
Thanks, Mike Lord.
Yep.
Bye.
Thanks a lot, man.
Appreciate it.
We'll get rested up, because tomorrow's gonna be a fun day. Tomorrow's gonna be so much fun.
I don't know how you guys can have so much fun. It should be
It's
a-
bagel and
Thank
cocoa
you,
day
Lord.
tomorrow.
No, it's.
Is it Charlie
third
Day?
grade field trip day. Oh, it is third grade field trip.
Oh, are you going?
You're gonna have third graders in here?
Here.
How fun.
Town offices?
What are you gonna do?
I don't know, Cheryl's doing it, I don't know.
It's.
I'm not kicking them.
M&M and chocolate
They
milk
had
day
such a
tomorrow.
good time last year, the teachers reached out to see if we could do field trip day again this year, so
To
we
the
go.
town office.
What are you gonna do, close your
Town
office door and put the
office
do
to-
not disturb sign on?
No, they get to meet everybody and the person gets to talk about what they do in their job. And then we set up a mock election so that they can see how an election works. And then they
Fun.
go see the fire station, the historical society, so they kind of
But you have all of them vote.
Do they go to the
They
town
all
garage
vote.
too?
They all get to
I was
vote.
thinking they did.
Do they go in the town garage too?
That's great.
What, a plow truck would be cool.
I would entertain a motion to, terminate our budget discussion for today.
Oh, move.
So moved.
Seconded.
All in favor?
Aye.
I would entertain another motion to go into executive session where executive, so which premature disclosure or discussion may be detrimental to the board in itself or individuals involved.
So moved.
Seconded.
All in favor?
Aye.
I would entertain a secondary motion to enter into executive session to discuss the evaluation of our town administrator, and accordingly, ask her to join that discussion after a brief discussion with the board prior to that discussion.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
I don't have to close that door, right?
What was that? So,
Lori's leaving, so.
Wait. Is it just gonna stop a recording?
get some copies in the spirit.
Oh.